Alright, what I'm going to do today is, on Cubic House of Magic, is make some changes to Omnath Locus of All. As some of you know, he started as, well, initially it was a pile of cards for another version of Animar. Soul of Hydras was what I was calling it. So I had a stack of Hydras. A small stack, not enough to make a full deck of Hydra Tribal, as it turns out. I decided that what I would do is elevate that stack of cards into another deck, and I chose Omnath Locus of All 5 colors because of his ability to retain the mana. So if I have excess mana, I can just dump it in my mana pool. He turns it black and keeps it as long as he's alive, as long as he's around. Which, the more mana he has on him, the bigger of a target he's going to be. And it's getting there. The deck is getting there. But I've got 9 changes I want to make. So I want to put in Teleportation Circle. 3 and a white for an enchantment. Beginning of your end step, exile 1 target artifact or creature. And the reason I want this is for Contagion Engine. So beginning of my end step, I flicker an artifact or creature. Comes back into play under my control, which is the only way I can see getting the most value out of Contagion Engine. So it costs 6. Comes into play. Put a -1 counter on each creature target player controls. So if I don't have a way to flicker it, if I don't have a way to bounce it back to my hand, recast it, do something, it just comes in, pisses one guy off. Yeah, I can proliferate twice, but that's it. So if I can flicker it, then it'll come back into play and I can hit that guy again or hit somebody else. So I want to put those 2 in. Mandate of Peace, 1 and a white. Instantly, only during combat. Your opponent can't cast spells this turn. Okay, fair enough. End the combat phase. Remove all attackers, blockers from combat. Exile all spells and abilities from the stack, including this spell. At first I read it as exile all attackers and blockers too, but no, it doesn't. It removes them from combat, so it stops combat. All spells and abilities get exiled, including this one, so it's a one-shot, but if somebody's coming at me with a big army, I could stop it, or if somebody's going after somebody else and is going to kill them, and I kind of need them around as a buffer, I can save them for 1 turn. Make a Saloon Arc. Nally has proven the utility of this guy. Oh yeah. So X and white. Comes to play with X +1/+1 counters on him. Tap him. He gets another +1/+1 counter. Or tap, remove a +1/+1 counter from Chaos. Put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. in a deck that has become, this is now my +1/+1 counters deck. So it's gone from Hydras to +1/+1 counters is kind of the theme. Coalition Relic, thinking about putting this in. This might not make it in. 3 to cast it. Tap, get a mana of any color. Tap, put a charge counter on it. Beginning of your pre-combat main, remove all charge counters from Coalition Relic. Add 1 mana of any color for each charge counter, pull out this way. So the best way to use this is at the end of the turn of the opponent preceding you, tap it to put a charge counter. And then, beginning your pre-con, you get a free mana, and you can still tap it to get another mana of any color. So it could provide 2 every other turn as it sits. If I have Doubling Season in play, or Innkeeper's Talent, then it gets double counters. So I get 2 free mana. Interested to see if it works. Walking Ballista. Yeah, I really like the feature side frame on this guy. It's very satisfying. I don't know about the question mark set symbol from the mystery boosters, but it is what it is. Comes to play with X +1/+1 counters on it. 4, put another +1/+1 counter on it. Remove 1, and it deals 1 damage to anything. Creature, player, planeswalker, dog that's been nipping at your heels. You can do 1 point of damage to the dog, and it'll run away. Innkeeper's Talent. 1 in the green. Beginning of combat your turn, put a +1/+1 counter target creature control. Okay, yeah, that's fine. 1 green. Level 2. Permanent you control with counters on them have ward 1. Oh, that's kind of nice. since the idea of the deck is every creature will get plus and plus encounters, either because of its native abilities or effects like this that give them counters. 3 in green, if you had put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many. So this guy is really good at planeswalkers. Doubling Season, if you cast a planeswalker, it comes into play with twice the loyalty counters. But putting a loyalty counter on a planeswalker is paying a cost. Therefore, Doubling Season will not double the counters when you uptick your planeswalkers. This will, because it just says if you put 1. It doesn't care how you put it, as long as you do it. Methadros Vampire, the A-Gunner. 4 black for a 3/4 flying vampire. Each creature controls is a vampire in addition to its other types, and has, whenever this creature deals damage to a creature, it gets a plus and plus encounter. So if this guy, and Triskelion is basically the same concept. So Triskelion, Walking Ballista, either one, it doesn't matter. Methadros Vampire, 2-card combo. Guns down your opponent's entire board, all of them. Unless a creature has Shroud, Indestructible, or Hexproof. Then you have to figure out some way to deal with those. But everything else, fair game. Take counter off Triskelion, deal damage to any target, deal the damage to a creature, and he says, hey, get another counter. Take a counter off Triskelion, deal damage to a creature. He says, hey, get another counter. So, those are the 9 cards I want to put in, and 1 land change I want to make. So let's start with the mana-based change because that's easy. So I want to put in this Wooded Foothills. Then Omnath will have all 4 of his fetch lands plus all 4 of his shock lands. And you say, wait a minute, he can have 10. Yeah, he could have 10, but I'm centering his mana base on green. The deck is green heavy. A lot of the cards that I have that find land find forest. So I'm just going with the green tinged shocks and fetches, which also keeps the cost of the deck down, so I don't have to acquire 10 shocks, 10 fetches. I already had these, so that's no problem. Also, if I have 10 shocks, that's a potential 20 points of damage if I need them to come into play untapped. That's a lot of damage. Having your tea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think it's still fun?
The tea? Yeah, that's fine. So then I also have 4 islands. I have 5 forests because again it's green heavy. I have 4 mountains, 3 plains. I don't have any swamps because it was the only black in the deck until Methadros Vampire showed up. The only black in the deck was to activate the Vault of the Archangel or cast Omnath if I don't want to pay 2 life. So I didn't really need any black, but now I'm going to. So I need to take one of these out for a swamp. I'll probably take out a mountain. So I'll take out a mountain. I don't have the swamp right here, so I'll go get it later. But I'll take out a mountain to put in 1 basic swamp. Now, what do I take out for the Wooded Foothills? So these are the lands that produce any color. Well, this, if I have that color, it produces another one of it. It just reflects my mana. 1 mana of any color, 1 mana of any color that the opponent's land could produce. So this will get me something I can use. Unless between my 3 opponents they're playing all 3 colors, and then it's, hey, fair game. Path of Ancestry comes to play tapped. It's a command tower that comes to play tapped with a slight upside. I've got a couple other elementals in the deck, so I'm not going to scry much, but the potential is there. Gateway Plaza, I'm probably going to take that out for the Wooded Foothills. Opal Palace, so it provides 1 mana of any color, but I have to spend 1 to do it. Or it just provides colorless. Something else I really like for the deck is Jetmir's Gardens. Jetmir's Gardens, so this is centered on green, gives me black or blue. Jetmir's Gardens, centered on green, gives me red or white, in addition to the green. So I'd like to add the duality of both of those, but Jetmir's Garden is still, it's not cheap, but but it's not expensive. I don't have an extra copy, and I don't feel like buying one right now, so I'm not going to. I'll get one later, and then I'll have to figure out what to take out for it. So, Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. Each land is a swamp in addition to its other land type, so if I get Urborg out, that solves all my problems with black. Then I've got Chukabog. Of course, I should try to play it strategically, take out somebody's graveyard, but that doesn't always happen. You have my Critical Growth, force number 6, and solves all my problems with green. You have my Hollow. 1 green, regenerate target creature, Gavany Township, 2 green white. All my creatures get a +1/+1 encounter, so essentially for 5, because I have to spend 4, plus tap this to do it, but still. Same with Volta the Archangel. 2 black-white tap, my creatures get Death Touch, lifelink until end of turn. Skarg the Fosse de Rage. Skarg the Rage Pits. So I can either get 1 colorless, or for green and red, I can give a creature +1/+1 and trample until end of turn. If you saw the Zombie Horde game, I was playing Omnath, and I saved a creature with this. So he cast Famine. All creatures take 3 points of damage. All players take 3 points of damage. And I had a 3/3 that I want to save, so okay, I'll give it +1/+1. It survives. And then Cabal Coffers. So this does nothing unless I have Urborg. I mean, I've got 2 swamps. I've got 1 swamp in the fetch land, shocklands. I've got 1 swamp in shocklands, 1 swamp here. And that's it. Take out the mountain, I get another swamp. So this is kind of a dead card most of the time, but because of the low opportunity cost and the high opportunity cost of having Urborg and this in play, I wanted to shove one in. I watched a Trinket Mage video where he's talking about coffers, and why do you run it? Most decks don't need it unless you have a spell with, you know, high X. You're casting bigger things. What's the point? He completely glossed over the fact that if you are running Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, you might as well run Cabal Coffers if you have one. I mean, there's very little reason not to. The reasons would be you don't get that many lands. You get the... actually, I don't need to take this out of the sleeve. What if Foothills already has one? You play it, and it just sits there doing nothing until you get the Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. But that's the thing. If you do get Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, you're golden. Everything's fine. Everything's just peachy. So this is still 38 lands. Effectively 37, because that, again, is dead unless I get the Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. So it's good that I have ways of getting it, isn't there? We'll review those as I go on. So first thing I want to do is, what am I going to take out for these 9 cards? First thing, I'm going to take this guy out. When I've had him in my hand, when I thought about it, I just didn't care. You know, he gets all activated abilities to each of the creature to +1/+1 encounter on it. You can tap him to give the creature +1/+1 encounter. My deck doesn't have enough abilities on creatures to make a difference. And activated, they have to be activated abilities. They can't just be triggered or static abilities. And my opponents, I don't know that they're really going to play that many creatures with activated abilities interesting enough to make this guy worth it. Plus, he's hard to cast. It's a 5-color deck, double blue, double green. It's tricky, so I'm going to take him out. Okay, bitter removal, 2 and a white, blow up something, as long as it's not a land. And, okay, it's a controller gets 1 white human. Who cares, as long as I kill whatever I'm trying to kill. Sun Titan, let's review him. So, yeah, I'd be losing when he comes to player attacks. I get something 3 or less back out of my graveyard, which could be a fetch land. You know, he could get me my fetch lands back, but I'm not sure if I need him, which is funny because I love Sun Titan. Venser Shaper Savant. The deck is light on interaction, so I need to keep what I have. Venser 2 double blue, instantly he comes into play, bounces spell or permanent back to his owner's hand, and he's got a 2/2 body. Mana Rock, Mana Ramp, need to keep that. Keen-Eyed Curator, this is, besides Bajika Bog, my only way of dealing with graveyards, so I want to keep him. I'm just going to kind of go quickly and just review the cards that are in question. So Smuggler's Surprise, this is a new addition to the deck. Green, +1, creatures control power 4 greater and hexproof and indestructible. That's really why it's in here. The green, 4, drop 2 creatures from your hand onto the battlefield. That'll be sweet too. I can't deny that'll be good. So I'll keep that. Stone Coil Serpent. Reach, trample, protection from multicolored. He's got a lot going on. And he's an X creature. Comes to play with X plus counters, which is the theme of the deck. So let's keep him. Evolution Witness, 2 and a green. She gets a counter on her, and you can return a permanent from graveyard to your hand. The deck is light. I've got black in the deck, right? Omnath is all 5 colors. But I didn't put anything in for recursion, really, except Evolution Witness and Eternal Witness. I don't have anything black that lets me bring creatures out of the graveyard. Wait, did I put Heaven Go Lich in here, or did I put him in another deck? I forget. Oh, I think I put him in another deck. But actually, I realize I've got another Heaven Go Lich, so I could put Heaven Go Lich in here. Oh yeah, he's black, but red hybrid, so it doesn't really count. So keep the Witness, Shapers of Nature, Mana Sink, right? 1 blue-green, 3/3, Merfolk Shaman. Spend 4, target creature gets +1/+1 encounter. Spend 3, remove 1, draw a card. Let's think about him. Maybe he'll come out. Maybe there's something better. Swiftfoot Boots. 2, equip creature with hexproof and shroud. And haste. No, he doesn't get hexproof and shroud. It only gets hexproof and haste. This creature has hexproof and shroud. Why? Why would you do that? Actually, you could if you have Swiftfoot Boots, and you can also equip the creature Lightning Greaves, so you can't touch it either. You can't touch this. Da, 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 da. Can't touch this. Do I need this though? Probably because of Omnath. So, but let's consider it. Reaver Cleaver, 2 and a red. Equip creature gets +1/+1 trample whenever it hits somebody or a planeswalker. That's kind of neat. That started doing that. You get treasure tokens. We'll think about that. Growing Rights of Itlamok. Search for top 4 cards of your library. Reveal a creature card from among them. Put it in your hand if you find 4 creatures. And then, beginning of your end step, if you have 4 more creatures, it flips over into Guy's Cradle. So yeah, this is going to stay. Fabro Elder. Oh, he's proved his value time and time again. Be playing this deck. 1 green white. 0/0 vigilance. +1/+1 for each color among permanents I control. So if Omnath's in play, he taps for 5, and he's a 5/5 with vigilance. So he's pretty goddamn good. Templates Discovery. One of the ways of finding the Urborg and or the Cabal Coffer. So that stays. Colonial Hydra. 3 green. Comes to play at 4 +1/+1 counters. Whenever it attacks, double the number of counters. That's more argument for keeping the Swiftfoot Boots. Play him for 5. Equip him for 1. Swing. He's an 8/8 trampler. Everything else doubles their counters. Probably want to keep that. Orum's Thunder. Like I said, the deck is kind of light on interaction. Even though it's a 5-color deck, it's just the way I built it. 2 and a white. Actually, it's 2 white-red, because I'm going to want to pay the kicker. Blow up an artifact or enchantment, pay the kicker, deals damage equal to that artifact or enchantment CMC to target creature. So it's artifact, enchantment, and creature kill all in one. Nature's Lord, go find a forest, put into play, Deep Glow Skate comes into play, which is another argument for the teleportation circle. So at the end of my turn, I can flicker the Deep Glow Skate, it'll come into play, and double the number of counters on whatever permanents I want to double. Champion of Lambholt, she doesn't care how she gets counters, all she cares is that she has a lot of counters and she'll get through. She stays. Vigor is a combo, so I'll set him aside and talk about him later. Forgotten Ancient, 3 into green. Whenever anybody casts a spell, any player casts any spell, you may put a plus and plus. The reason they say may is if you forget, too bad. Beginning of your upkeep, you can move any number of plus and plus encounters from Forgotten Agent onto, you can just distribute them. You don't take them all off, like Ozolith. You put them on one creature. This guy says, you can put them anywhere you want. I don't care. Defense of the Heart, I'll be taking this out. This might surprise some of you. But if I'm putting Methodros Vampire, and the argument for keeping this in is because I'm putting in Methodros Vampire, Walking Ballista, and Triskelion. So you would think I would want this even more. But with the games I'm playing in Prague, the kind of games we're having and the way I want to interact with my friends, I don't want to, on turn 3 or 4, this comes out. And by then, somebody will have 3 creatures. Somebody will. So then, my next turn, even if it's turn 6, to just sacrifice this and get a 2-card combo that wipes everybody's board except mine, it's not really fair. That's not really what I want to do. So even though it's less efficient, even though it isn't the best thought process, I'm going to take this out because I will have this 2-card instant kill combo. Inspiring Call, 2 and a green, instantly draw a card for each creature roll with a plus and plus encounter on it, and they become indestructible until end of turn. Save your team, draw cards. What's not to love? Portal Hydra comes to play with X plus and plus counters. Beginning of your upkeep, double them. As long as he has 10 or more, he has trample. Yeah, he's staying. Guided Passage. This just doesn't really work. Okay. It finds you 3 cards that you put in your deck. So it finds me 3 cards that I chose. I chose the cards for the deck. I want all the cards at different times. But your opponents, invariably, except for very vanishing rare occasions, will give you the worst possible cards at the time that you cast it. I even tried it. Last time I played it, I targeted a player. I chose a player who was behind and that I could help with Guided Passage. And I even told him, if you give me some good things, I can help you out further against the guy who's kicking both our ass. And what did he do? He gave me a basic land. He gave me something that didn't really mean anything at the time. And he gave me, I think, what else? Or he gave me some small creature. I'm like, if you'd given me things that actually buff up my board, I can do something about the guy that's kicking her ass. Yeah, I know. Okay, fine. So I'm going to take that out. If they don't want to play smart, I'm not going to bother giving them the chance. Got a bit of dust in there. There we go. Kind of. What the hell is that? Let me scratch that off. I'll deal with it later. Okay, Sting Moggy. Another way of dealing with artifacts in the deck. So 3 in green, 3 in the red. He comes to play 2 plus encounters. Theme of the deck. 3 in a red. Pull 1 off of him and blow up an artifact or land. Land control. Kenrith, the Returned King. So this is another really great card in this deck, and it's funny because I have a 5-color Kenrith deck, but it doesn't feel 5-color because Kenrith is, on the face of it, he's white. He just is 5-color because of his abilities. And yeah, the Experiment Cry could, you know, if Kenny has a plus and plus encounter, Experiment Cry could do any of these, but what's the point? What's the point of having duplication for these abilities? It doesn't matter. And if he dies, then Experiment Cry can't copy them anyway. So anyway, like I was trying to say, in Kenrith, I have an Omnath. And now, in Omnath, I have a Kenrith. So it's just kind of funny that way. Well, I think it's funny. Man, you're a tough crowd. Hydra Omnivore. This is a good argument for keeping in the Reaver Cleaver. So 4 green for an 8/8, 6 for an 8/8, without trample, without any kind of evasion. It's just a big creature. But when it punches one of my opponents in the face, it punches everybody else in the face too. So probably should keep the Reaver Cleaver if I have him. Survival of the Fittest. So this finds Kenny, and this also gives Kenny fuel for the cause. So one in a green, spend 1 green, choose and discard a creature, go find another creature in your library, show it to everybody, look, I got this creature, and then shuffle after. Ion Storm. I'm keeping this in here, but I'm not sure of its utility. I'm not completely sold on it yet. I need to get it in play, and I need to see it in action before I confirm that. So I'm going to keep it in here for the time being. 2 in a red, enchantment. 1 in a red, pull a +1/+1 encounter or charge counter. Remember the Coalition Relic puts charge counters on itself. And deal 2 damage to anything. Shock something. So spend 2, take a +1/+1 charge counter off something you control, and shock something. I think it'll be good, but I need to confirm that. Master Biomancer, 2 green-blue. Each other creature control comes into play with +1/+1 encounters on it. Additional +1/+1 encounters equal to his power. So if I can buff up his power, when I play my Hydras, I can just pay them like the Primordial Hydra. I can just pay 2 green, and automatically I would get a 2/2 Hydra. If barring anything else, barring him being bigger, barring me pumping any more mana, 2 green for 2/2 Primordial Hydra. That's not a bad deal. Braid of Fire. This goes along with the Ion Storm. This goes along with it because it's low to cast. 1 in a red. Every upkeep, and we don't have mana burn anymore. We should bring back mana burn. It should be a thing again. And if it was a thing, I would not run this card. And if I did, my opponents will not blow it up. But we don't have mana burn, so they will blow it up. So every upkeep, I get an ever-increasing amount of red that I can only spend during my upkeep, unless I have some way of storing it. But also, I have ways of using it during my upkeep. Kenny has activated abilities that I can activate its instance, and this can be for the colorless. Ion Storm, activated abilities. So during my upkeep, I can activate Ion Storm. Hang on a minute. Alright, there we go. So, during my upkeep, I can activate Ion Storm, kind of for free, just paying the cost up front, in essence. So I want to keep this and see if it works in this deck. Dry to the Lucent Grove. Okay, he fixes my mana. My lands become every basic land type in addition to their other types. So he also works with the Cobalt Coffers, because all my lands will be swamps. Nice. And he allows me to play more lands. Fathom Mage, whenever a +1/+1 encounter is placed on her, and she doesn't care how it happened. She's got Evolve, so if a bigger creature comes into play, she gets a +1/+1 encounter. But if I move them onto her Forgotten Ancient, if I give them to her from other methods, she doesn't care. If I double the number of +1/+1 encounters because she's here when the Deepwater Skate shows up, she got counters. I get a card. So she stays. Glenelyn Archmage, 3 in a blue. 1 blue, counter on creature spell. She's got Persist, so if she gets another +1/+1 encounter on her, it will erase the neg1/neg1. They would like matter, antimatter, they cancel each other out. So in this deck, She should stay around for quite some time. Dawn's Truce. This is a funny card. I still say it would be funnier if your opponent could refuse the gift. Then it should only cost 1 white, because you're kind of counting on it. You're saying, here, you get to draw a card, and my permanents become indestructible. And if they say no, if they could say no, if they could deny it, it's like a Ristic card. It'd be like Ristic Truce. So anyway, 1 and a white, you and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. If the gift was promised, permanents you control also gain indestructible until end of turn. Lifeblood Hydra. This, I was thinking of taking this out because of the triple green. But if I've got Master Biomancer, if nothing else, I could pay triple green and it comes down as a 2/2, barring any other shit going on like we discussed. It natively has trample, and when it croaks, I gain life and draw cards equal to its power. So for that, it's staying. Renata called to the hunt. So if I have Renata out, and I cast the Fathom Mage, she automatically gets a counter because of Renata. Whenever each other creature I control comes into play with additional +1/+1 counter on it. So I would draw a card. And she's one of those cards that doesn't give me any big swing. It's just over the course of the game, every creature I have that follows her coming into play with a +1/+1 counter in addition to whatever else is going on. Over the course of the game, that can become huge. And time will tell. But her power is equal to my devotion to green. Herald. So Herald here, for the low price of 3 and a blue to get a 2/3 Merfolk Warrior, creatures that control +1/+1 counters on them cannot be blocked. That sounds like a pretty fucking good idea for me in a deck that revolves around +1/+1 counters. Apocalypse Hydra. When I was fighting the zombie horde, I actually got this down as a 20/20 because I paid 12, came into play 10 counters, and it says if it comes to play with 5 or more, double the +1/+1 counters on it. So it's a 20/20 fucking Hydra. It doesn't have trample though, but still it has the Ion Storm kind of ability. 1 in a red, take a +1/+1 counter off the Hydra, and it deals 1 damage to creature or player. Ozolith. Whenever creature control leaves the battlefield, had counters on it, put those counters in the Ozolith. Beginning of combat on your turn, if it has counters on it, you can move all those from the Ozolith onto target creature. For the mana cost, I mean, it just kind of sits there most of the time and does nothing. But creatures dying will feed it. Teleportation Circle, if I flicker a creature with +1/+1 counters on it, that'll feed it. And again, over the course of the game, this can be, in total, in aggregate, huge swings. So let's keep that. Alright, here's the combo. Nin, the Pain Artist, and Vigor. So Vigor, 3 green, 3 and trope green for a 6/6 trampling elemental incarnation. Damage will be dealt creature. Yes, he's an elemental, so I would get to scry off the Opal Palace with him. Is it Opal Palace? The one that lets me fucking scry. I'm not going to look at it right now. If damage will be dealt to creature control other than Vigor, prevent the damage. Put a +1/+1 counter on the creature for each 1 damage prevented this way. Nin says, for the, X, blue-red, tap. She hurts a creature, and its controller draws X cards. So, I can have her hurt herself. She can be a masochist and hurt herself. And Vigor says, hey, you're not going to hurt yourself. You're just going to get bigger and draw your master some cards. And she says, okay, Big Daddy, that sounds like a good thing. So that's kind of a combo there. All right, what else have I got? Fertilid, part of the ramp suite, doing a green. It comes to play with counters. I can pull a +1/+1 counter off it for 1 in a green. Go find a basic target player So if somebody is behind and they're willing to make a deal, I can make them go find a land and put it in play tapped to push them up if they're getting mana screwed and I'm not behind on mana myself. So I've got high hopes for the deck. So Tina, Speak of the Tajiru. So 2 and a green for a 2/2. Comes to play, I'll go find a basic land, put it in play tapped, then shuffle. Whenever she attacks, I can bounce a land I control to my hand, and if I do, put a +1/+1 and counter target creature. So if I don't have any land in my hand, if I've not played my land this turn, if nothing else, I can just attack with her, bounce a land back to my hand to replay it in my second main, and make a creature bigger. So I think she's going to work out pretty good in this deck. Normally I would put a Wood Elves in a deck like this. In this instance, I've decided on Sutina. Wood Elves would let me go find any of the shock lands or the Triome, because it finds the Wood Elves, they'll find a forest. They don't care what's attached to the forest, all they care is that the land is a forest. She will only find me a single basic land, but if I flicker her, I can just keep doing that. But the potential and other things, small aggregate. So first main, I cast a spell. I attack with Sutina. I bring back a tapped land to my hand. After combat, I replay it. So now I have a fresh untapped land. And it's small little advantages. Maybe I don't need her, but I want to try her and verify I don't need her. How many cards do I have as potential cuts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need to cut 2 more. Actually, I better keep the River Cleaver. So now I'm down to 6. And I should keep the Swiftfoot Boots, and I'm down to 5. So I need to still cut 5 cards. And I'm really not sure about Sun Titan of Shapers of Nature. Really not sure about those. These other 3, yeah, I'll cut those for the reasons I've explained. And I'm almost done with the deck. I don't have a whole lot of things to look at. Archangel Avacyn. 3 white flashes into play, 4/4 flying vigilance. When she flashes into play, my creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. When a non-angel creature I control croaks, she flips over into a 6/5 that does 3 damage to everything. She taps over to this crazy chick. So 3 damage to each other creature and each opponent. So she's part of the protection suite. Keeping 5 mana up could be a problem. That is true. I fully admit that. But I want to give her a go. I like this art. I love the front face. The reverse crazy Avacyn. I don't know about that. I'm sure she'd be she'd be a fun chick to go on a date with. But I don't know if she'd be a fun chick to be in a relationship with. This Avacyn, she might not be that wild and fun, but yeah, she'll cook you breakfast in the morning. She's a nice girl. Let's keep that. Okay, then I've got Shalai, Voice of Plenty. More protection. You, my Planeswalkers. I don't think I have any Planeswalkers in this deck. Nope, I didn't put any at all. So, 3 and a white, 3/4 Flying Angel. You, Planeswalkers and creatures you control have hex other creatures. She doesn't give herself hexproof. That would be just too good. 6 mana, instant speed, put a +1/+1 counter each creature. So she will give herself counters. She will make herself bigger, but she ain't going to protect herself. Kind of confused. And then Mindless Automaton. This is just a cheap way of drawing cards. So it comes into play, 4 mana, has 2 +1/+1 counters on it. I can spend 1 and throw away a card, put a +1/+1 counter on it. I can remove 2 counters from it and draw a card. Actually, with Kenrith in play, this becomes more interesting. So if I have a creature that costs, I don't know, 6, 7, 6, it's a little bit more efficient to put it in the graveyard, and then spend 5 through Kenny to resurrect it. So he works well in the deck. He looks fucking strange, but he works well in the deck. Eternal Witness. When she comes into play, I return a card from her graveyard to my hand. Now, I left her in here because of the numbers of instants and sorceries I have. Because to return permanents, the Evolution Witness is kind of better, because she just needs to get a counter on her and she'll bring back a permanent at instant speed. That said, do I need the duplication? Do I need Eternal Witness and Evolution? Am I so worried about bringing back some of the sorceries and instants, the few instants I have, that I really need to worry about doing that? I'm not sure, so let's put it over here. Sylvan's Crying. Wanted green. Search your library for Urborg if you have a Cabal Coffers. Search your library for Coffers if you have Urborg. Show it to everybody that you have it so they know what's coming in the shuffle. Sapphire Drake. Each creature control has a plus and with a plus and plus encounter on it has flying. For the mana, I mean, it's really good. 4/4 flyer, 6 mana. That's not good. That's kind of shitty. But he makes all my creatures plus and plus encounters on them fly, which is good for evasion and good for blocking. So, yeah, let's keep him. Okay, Avenger of Zendikar. I put this in here so I can go wide. One thing about the deck is I can easily fall in the trap of just putting out one big dumb creature at a time and them getting nuked individually. You know how that can go sometimes. But if I play Avenger of Zendikar, if I have Doubling Season, which is right here, so if I have Doubling Season, I would get double the plants. And when I play a land, I would get double the counters on it. So he lets me go. But then, maybe I should have a Goblin Bombardment to make the most use out of him, but then it doesn't work with everything else, so I will keep him. I will keep him as kind of a big finisher. And Doubling Season, same thing. I mean, you see everything that puts plus and plus encounters on stuff. So, obviously Doubling Season is key for the deck. Hydroid Crisis, blue and a green, X. When you cast it, I have to cast it, gain a half X life, and draw half X cards. Round down each time. He comes into play with plus, with X plus and plus encounters on him, flying trample. But if I try to play him, and I've only got Master of Biomancer, play him for blue and a green as a 2/2 flying trampler, and then build him up later, I get nothing. I get jack shit. You only get the life and the cards when you cast him. So you need to cast him for a lot. Molten Hydra, 1 in a red, 1 in double red, he'll put a plus and plus encounter on himself. He eats fire and gets bigger. Tap, remove all plus and plus encounters from Molten Hydra. Deals 1 damage to target creature or player for each counter removed this way. I'm not sure if he's really going to be that effective in the deck, but I think as an early creature, I could do worse. So play him turn 2, and as different effects, put counters on things, make him bigger, and then if I need to kill something, or somebody, depending on how many counters and what their life total is, I can do so. Jugi, the Rising Star. 3 triple green. When he dies, I can distribute 5 plus and plus counters among any number of target creatures. Hello! I'm not really sure I need this. Because he has to die to... I get a benefit when he dies. But he does cost triple green. And of course I can get him back with Kenrith. So let's put him over here. Seedborn Muse. Recently promoted to Game Changer.
Where's Emma?
In a room. Reading. So...
Okay, she's not
Let's see what I have that really takes advantage of. So, untap all my lands, put a plus encounter on each creature I control. Untap my lands, have 5 mana up for Avacyn. I'm looking for specific things. Untap my lands, I can activate him. Untap my lands and her, and each turn, mine this opponent, that opponent, this opponent, and draw a lot of cards. Yeah, I'll keep the Seedborn Muse. I've seen enough. So Seedborn Muse will stay. Soul Ring, yeah, I don't need to talk about that. Skyshard Claim. Search the library for 2 forest cards, put them into play, then shuffle. I don't know if I need this. I mean, it's ramp. Let's see what I have for ramp. Let's count the ramp. We'll count the rocks too. 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like I skipped over 1. That's 4. 5. Not really ramp, I won't count him. 6, 7, 7. So actually, what I'll do is I'll take out Skyshard Claim for 3 visits. Let's see if I have a 3. I've got a small stack of cards over here that aren't in decks. Some of them are slated for decks, some are not. Do I have a 3 visits in this stack? And a lot of these cards you've seen coming in from the past few weeks of mail calls. Yeah, there we go. Some of these cards you've seen me take out of decks. Scurry of Squirrels. He's just so cute. I wonder if he'd be good in this deck. 2 and a green. Oh, if I have Doubling Season, I would get more tokens, and when they hurt somebody, I would put more counters. Maybe that's the deck he needs to be in. I just got him because he's cute, he was cheap. Cube is playing him. That's an idea. Scurry of Squirrels. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll take out Skyshard Claim, and I put in 3 visits. So I'm going from 4 mana to 2, but I'm going from 2 forests to 1. But this will come into play. This will take effect earlier in the game. So that's better for me. Okay. Unplanned change. Last 2 cards. Ulashed, the Hate Seed. 2 green red. Comes into play with a +1/+1 counter for each other red creature control, and a +1/+1 encounter on it for each other green creature control. Remove a +1/+1 encounter from Ulashed. Choose 1. Deals 1 damage to target creature, or put a 1/1 green sapling creature token into play. Do I want him? Let me think about that. Colrath Knight. 3 double black, double red hybrid. 3/3 flying. Elemental. Oh, he's an elemental. So I would get Opal Palace. Is that the one? Opal Palace, Path of Ancestry. Path of Ancestry is the Scry one. So if I cast him with Path of Ancestry, I get the Scry. Creatures your opponents control, counters on them, cannot attack or block. It doesn't care what kind of counters. It doesn't give a shit. They can be -1/-1. They can be +1/+1. They can be flying. Death Touch. Gigolo counters.
Who's that?
That's a Colrath Knight.
Looks spooky.
Look, it's an elemental flying on a bat.
But that's in Agnes and the Island of Ghosts. There's also like a giant bat that she rides.
Okay.
But it's a king.
Maybe this is Agnes.
Maybe.
So just this alone. Remember, with Kenny, I can put +1/+1 counters on creatures I don't control. What else? I mean, Experiment Cry is coming out, so, but that, I'm not worried about that. What else did I have, if anything, that puts +1/+1 counters on creatures I don't control? Anything? Let's see. Onto target creature. I mean, that's a stretch, but it is a potential line of play. Is there anything else I have that lets me put counters on my opponent's creatures? I don't think so. Kenny does, obviously. We already said that. Doesn't look like it, does it? No. Nope. We'll double the counters. But I need to get it there. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may move other creatures. So yeah, with Forgotten Ancient, I can move a few counters onto my opponent's creatures, and as long as I keep the Kolrath Knight alive, they can't attack me, or block me, or attack or block anybody else. So let's keep that. Alright, so I'll show you. So Ulash I'm thinking about. Alright, so we take out... He's a 5/5 flyer. That if he dies, I get counters. But I don't have high market in the deck. I don't have any sacrifice outlet in the deck. Oh well. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that would be 8. And I've got 9 to put in. Let's do the easy cuts. So first we'll take out Guided Passage. It's not in the best of shape. It's EX, not near mint, but it's signed. So that will definitely stay on my art binder. Okay. Let's put in the stuff that I am definitely going to want in this deck, which is 5 cards. Okay. We'll start with Walking Ballista. So take out Guided Passage, put in Walking Ballista, take out Defense of the Heart. This is going to be a long video. Take out Defense of the Heart, put in... Let's get... I put in the Walking Ballista, so I need the A-Gunner. I've got my machine gun team. All your creatures die. Take out Experiment Cry. So, in Czech, J is pronounced as a Y. So, Czech pronunciation, this would be Experiment Cry. I haven't heard any English speakers say this name, so I guess in the States it would call this Experiment Kraj. Probably. What do you Americans call it? Do you call it Experiment Kraj? Which is weird. Okay, Mikaeus. Definitely want Mikaeus in this deck. Comes down early, gets counters, puts on counters. He does groovy shit, baby. Alright, so if I take out Jugan, my Rising Star, I should probably put in something that puts counters on things. This is slower. I mean, Jugan dies and I get 5 counters anywhere I want. But this over 5 turns would effectively do this, but it has, 5 turns. Unless, of course, we go to level 3. So we'll put Innkeeper's Talent in. And we still have these. Mandate of Peace. Teleportation Circle, which goes with the Contagion Engine. Triskelion, which I only need for redundancy. And the Coalition Relic. So she finds instants or sorceries. I don't really have that many, and so I probably don't need to worry about them. Of course, she could find more land. More land finders. If I cast 3 visits, she can bring it back. Anyway, let's try taking her out. We'll put in the Triskelion. So I've got that redundancy. And then what about these? So Shapers of Nature, it's kind of a mana sink. How many ways of drawing cards do I have? Let's take a look at that. Let's see. How many ways of drawing extra cards? Well, I'll get a couple cards off that. The Automaton. Nin. Nin can, if I hurt my own creatures, and I'll have to hurt my own creatures for Nin. Let's see. Gain life and draw cards if it dies, if it croaks. Yeah, she's pretty reliable. Let's see. Kenny lets me draw cards for the same cost. Well, no. That costs 2 in a blue, remove a +1/+1 counter creature, control, draw a card. He costs 3 in a blue, simply draw a card. No other bullshit. And for him to put a +1/+1 counter something, it only costs 1 in the green. They cost 3, 3, 3. He costs 5. He's a 5/5. Alright, something to think about. What else do I have that draws cards? That lets me look at 4, and I get a creature. That's not really draw. That lets me draw a few cards. Okay, so... kind of don't want to do this, but I'll take out the Shapers of Nature for the Teleportation Circle, because I do like the idea of resetting some of my creatures. But now that I have the circle in, it's really pushing me to put that Coalition Relic, the Contagion engine in. And then I've got this piece of interaction. Let's see how many ways of protecting my board I have, really. I've got... hang on. I've got her. She's on board. Gives my other creatures hexproof. Not indestructible, so they can still be wrath. They can still be hit with blanket damage, like Blasphemous Act. I've got her. She costs 5, but she is protection. Interactive protection. I've got Vigor, so he prevents damage. Doesn't prevent Wrath of God. I've got... let's see... I've got Dawn's Truce. So this basically fogs and ends the stack. This gives my permanents hexproof and indestructible. What else do I have for protective interaction? Not a whole lot, really. I mean, there's the Inspiring Call. So I've got 3 or 4, depending on how you want to look at it, 3 or 4 pieces of protective interaction. So I guess I don't really need the Mandate of Peace. But what I am thinking of now is Living Death. I'm running black, so I could put Living Death in the deck. Is it worth it? What else would I take out? I have to take something out. I mean, I don't want to take out a land. I know that's a bad idea. Do I want Ulashed? Ulash the Hate Seed. So, he only counts green and red creatures, which is a lot of them, admittedly. Most of them. Oh shit, if I drop him after Adventure of Zendikar, he's going to be fucking huge. But do I... what about Sun Titan? Okay, what can Sun Titan bring? Sun Titan can bring back fetch lands. That's pretty fucking... he can bring back Innkeeper's Talent, Mikaeus, Ballista, Soul Ring, Hydra. Yeah, you can bring back... that's not going to be a good idea, though. What else can he bring back? Boots? Cleaver, Satina, Fertilid, Nin, Ozolith. He can bring back a lot of things that I'm going to want to bring back if they die. So I do want the Sun Titan. I do want Ulash, but I want that Contagion Engine too. Let's take another quick look. What is Contagion Engine better for me than, if anything? This is the hard part. This is why sometimes I procrastinate on finishing decks, tuning them, because of the pain of pulling things out. Sometimes it's easy. I mean, taking out the Defense of the Heart, taking out Experiment Cry, that's pretty easy. Taking out Defense of the Heart isn't the best idea if I want this to be a powerful deck. If I want it to be, say, bracket 4. But I don't. I want it to be at bracket 3. Not that my buddies and I talk about brackets much, but sometimes we do, but normally we just sit down and what kind of game do you want to play? Do you want a fast game, powerful game? And then we pull out a faster, powerful deck depending on what we think we have that can match what the other guy thinks is fast or powerful. Oh yeah, this is interaction. For good or hexproof and indestructible. Surprise! We got smuggled in. Christ, this is so fucking difficult. I mean, he's a Mana Sink too. Ah, son of a bitch. What do I put in for that goddamn Contagion Engine? I mean, stop shit from attacking me and blocking me. Finds lands, untaps my stuff. Can burn something. Am I really going to want that though? So 1 double red to give it a counter by itself. Of course, if I had doubling season or something, you know, I could put more counters. And then just kill it's control, it kills things. Probably want to, gonna want to kill things once in a while. Gives all my things with plus and counters flying. So all these plants, oh, that'd be funny. Avenger's Zendikar, Sapphire Drake, then play Avenger's Zendikar behind it, crack a fetch. Then I've got all these 1/2 flyers. Fuck. What do I take out? Check out the treasure token generator. Take out the hexproof haste. I don't have any other things with haste though. Land finder. What would you take out? What would you take out for the Contagion Engine? Maybe the Ion Storm, but that does damage. Braid of Fire. So it gives me mana during my upkeep, and I could put it on Omnath, but I don't know that I need it. But I bought it for a deck just like this. I bought it for this kind of deck. Why wouldn't I use it? Pump up Omnath with mana. Get free red. Crap, this is a fucking... Anyway, I'm done. I need a break. I need to chill out, think about this. So I'm gonna post this in a couple days' time. And by the time I post it, maybe I'll have made the decision. But in any case, even if I have, it doesn't matter. I want to know, what would you take out, looking at this deck, what would you take out for the Contagion Engine, Coalition Relic, Meta to Peace, or also, what would you have taken out instead of any of these? Right? I mean, obviously, Defense Art is good, but I kept talking about why that came out. Is there any of these cards, or the other cards, that you think should be in this deck that should replace something? And remember, the rule of the channel is, if you recommend a card for a deck, you have to tell me what you would cut for it. Because that's the hard part. Anybody can... Oh, this is great for your deck. That's great for... Oh, why aren't you running this? Because I've got 99 cards already, and it's a tough stack, and I don't know what to take out. That's why I'm not running it. Please tell me what to take out. Well, that's the hard part. Do it yourself, motherfucker.